Hello. Hope you're having an amazing day or an amazing evening wherever you're at. My name's Anita and we are going to review my currently inked pens for the month of March. Let's just get right into it. I started the month with 7 pens, but I had a new pen arrive, so I ended with 8. First up is my Leonardo Momento Zero with a medium nib in the Aloha colorway. I started out inked with Pilot Iroshizuku Asagao. It's a lovely jewelly shade of blue, but I was determined to try something new. So when I wrote it dry, I cleaned it out and switched to Birmingham Pen Co's Kingfisher. I'd purchased that ink, oh my goodness, about 6 months ago. And I had it under my desk in a box with intending to make video. And yeah, it took a minute, but I did. And I put it in here. And honestly, I have no complaints. It was a wonderful writing experience. I didn't have any problems at all. It was fine. And I think I will be moving on from this pen. I love this pen. When did I get it? My birthday, maybe? 3 months ago? I don't even remember. That's horrible. I love this pen. It writes great, but I've got a new love, and I will link my unboxing video. I'm shaking up my lineup for spring. Anywho, this was great. I loved it. Next is the new arrival for the month. I picked up the Leonardo Furore in the colorway Aquapetra. I saw this pen last year and I loved it. These are my happy colors. I love these colors. Anyway, I inked it with, let's see, Ferris Wheel Press. Am I talking right? Ferris Wheel Press Aurorealis. This was great. I've only purchased samples of Ferris Wheel Press inks because I'd heard they were dry, and dry didn't sound good to me before I really understood what it was. So I'd never purchased a bottle. I only tried different samples, and the samples were okay. I think I understood what dry was, and I really wasn't using their inks that much. But Aurorealis was so pretty that I said, you know what? I think I have to get it. And thank goodness, it's nice and it's well lubricated and it's all shimmery. It's so pretty. I love it. It is so pretty in this pen, and I love this pen. It's a wonderful combination, and I have absolutely nothing bad to say. It's been great. But honestly, I don't know if I'm going to keep it inked next month. Since I didn't use this pen for a whole month, I am so inclined to use it again next month. But I don't know what I'm going to put in it, or if I'll leave it as is. I haven't decided. Next is my Esterbrook Estie-Lilac, another fairly new arrival to my collection. This pen has a broad nib. I love my broads. And it is currently inked with 3 Oysters Purple Gray, and I love it. I have no complaints. I love the color. Well lubricated, well behaved. Not a bad thing to say. I loved writing with it. I still love writing with it. It's been great. I love it. I love it. Let's move on to my TWSBI Diamond 580 ALR in black, and it's currently inked with Sailor Ink Studio 683. And it's my first bottle of Sailor ink, and I haven't tried too many of their inks. I guess I got gun shy. I had, I won't call it a bad experience, but I'll call it, I was an inexperienced fountain pen user, and the color was not for me. So I kind of avoided, Sailor inks, and it didn't help that where I get most of my samples, which is Van Ness, they don't have Sailor. They don't carry Sailor. So it wasn't hard to avoid them. Not that I did it on purpose, but I was gun shy. Anyway, I picked up this pen and I got it at Dromgold's, I think. Pretty sure it was Dromgold's. And I wanted to get a bottle of ink too, and so I just picked up Sailor Ink Studio 683, and it's been so good in this pen. I can't even. It's been so nice, so well behaved. I think the ink I used, Manual Haha, was just too light for me. I like light inks, but just not for writing. I can't see what I'm doing. And there's nothing more frustrating than not being able to see. Next up is my Jinhao 9016 DADAO, and it's in the amber colorway, and it's transparent, and it's currently inked with Diamine Ancient Copper. This pen has a Fude nib. Hopefully you can see that. And this has been a good combination. I like this. It's fun. I didn't have any problems with it, with anything skipping. No skipping. Definitely no hard starting. The only thing was, for just general writing, this wasn't it. This was too big for just like making notes, unless I wanted to make big notes, you know, like writing bigger, which I can write big. That's not hard. But no, it just wasn't good for how I use the pen, generally speaking. It's better for things like headers, and if I wanted to do like, say, a cute little title along the side of the page, kind of spread out the lettering, it'd be good for that. But just writing like that, not as much. I have to kind of rein in my writing to kind of stay in the boxes, and staying in the boxes is not something I care about per se. They're more guidelines for me. I am not that person who has to stay in the boxes at all. I rebel against the boxes. But anyway, yeah, the nib, the way it writes, I love it, just not for general writing. Next is my Jinhao Centennial 100, and it's in ivory and this pretty shaded green, and it's currently inked with Birmingham Pen Co Copperhead. This pen has a medium nib, and this was a good combination too. This pen, I didn't work on the nib at all, and that was just because I didn't make the time for it. It skips a little bit, and I think if I've lost the tines a little bit, that will help. They're a little bit tight, but when it didn't do that, just a little bit of a little miss here or there, it was a good writer, and I enjoyed writing with it. I have no problems, no complaints, and yeah, it was good. I can't say anything bad about it. I just need to work on the pen, which I don't mind doing that. I like tinkering. I've learned that about myself. I mean, it's come to the forefront of me understanding myself. I don't mind fidgeting with things that I don't mind fidgeting with. And I don't mind fidgeting with pens. So that's cool. I can deal with that later. Next is my Pelikan M205-Apatite, and it's currently inked with Pelikan Edelstein Apatite. And this is an awesome combination. I figured, well, why not put the ink in the pen that came with it? And it is amazing. I love the color. The pen is a little tiny for me. I mean, look at my hand in this pen. Am I even in the frame? It's so small, but it's a good writer. It's been a good writing experience. It's my first Pelikan pen. And just to give you some perspective on the size, this is a Pilot Prera. I love this pen. I love how this writes. It's so cute. Look at the color. I love this pen. This pen costs, what, less than $30? This pen, slightly bigger, significantly more than $30. But I have equally good experiences with them both, to be completely honest. Except this nib is finer and this nib is not. And I like this better for that reason alone. I just like a slightly broader nib. But that's just, you know, personal preference. I love Pilot pens. I really do. So anyway, this was great. I carried this over from February, I think. And yeah, no problems. I love it. I love the color. I love the color. And yeah, you saw the writing sample. Awesome. I love it. I'm going to write it dry and move along. Last is my Platinum Plasir. I purchased this pen, I don't even remember when, early in my journey when I was just, oh wow, I was just picking up pens, whatever tickled my fancy, because everything was relatively inexpensive. And yeah, I picked this one up, but by that time I realized that I like pens that were more in this style more. So I never did get around to using the Platinum. So I said, Anita, use the pen. So I pulled it out. I inked it with the cartridge that came with it. It has a medium nib, but you, in my opinion, would never know it if you like broader nibs. But it's been a good writer. It's just been awesome, but it's just a little fine for my taste. And I have to be in the mindset of, I feel like using something, you know, with a more fine nib. I would have to be in that state of mind to use this and enjoy it. Otherwise, I am completely biased, and I admit it. So, how did the month go? As like I told y'all, everything was good, except for like the Jinhao Centennial 100 needing a little tweaking. But it wasn't horrible. It wasn't all the time. It was just completely infrequent and random. At least as far as I know, it's random. I am not a pen doctor. Everything was good. I have no complaints about the performance of any of the pens. Here's my complaint. I realize I love color. I love colors. I love color combinations. I love putting colors and patterns together. I love all that. But if you look at my colors, they don't really go together. They're kind of random. And I didn't enjoy that at all. I did not enjoy this month, and it was a long month. It has 31 days, and it almost felt like 31 days of torture. But I looked at the pens in isolation, and I got through the month. It's almost over. Today is the 27th, I think. It's fine. It's almost over, and I use things that I don't use often, or I haven't used at all, and I'm appreciative of that experience. I'm appreciative that I have pens to experiment with, let's be honest. I don't have to have all these pens. It's not necessary. I used to use Muji gel pens and Tool pens, and here I am using all of this. But the color palette just didn't do it for me at all. And if you look at the palettes I've had previously, they're more of my style. I'm more of a jewel tone person. I've always been this way. When I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I've always liked bolder colors. It doesn't matter the season. I like a color that is fairly well saturated. I'm not really into pastel anything, even though I appreciate them, and I don't mind muted things. I mean, look at my watch band. But when it comes to writing, I like a high contrast. It's just easier for me to read. And I like more saturated, more intense colors. And I especially lean toward blues and teals, turquoise, purples. And we can throw in some pinks and golds sometimes. But yeah, if I have these colors like the Copperhead, Kingfisher, even the Sailor Ink Studio and the 3 Oysters inks, in the context of where they're at, they don't look terrible together, but I would have to plan my palette so that I could enjoy the colors more. Even though they're not my favorites, if I set them up for the win, it would be better. But this was kind of random, to be honest. And for that reason, I didn't love this month. But I definitely learned something. I can use these other colors as long as there's enough contrast. And when I'm writing, I can actually see what I'm writing. Not like those inks that when you put it down, I can't see it. Where am I writing? But once it dries, like, oh, okay. No, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. Why torture myself? But yeah. So the next time you see these kinds of colors, I'm going to have a palette that works with the colors, and I will enjoy it more. I already know. But this month was kind of the random month. And while my experiences really were all good, As far as how the pens performed with the inks, it's just the colors. My emotions were not satisfied. These colors, except for the except for Apatite, they didn't really spark any joy. Not really. I did like Aurorealis, but I have too many dark colors that need to be balanced out with something that's more bright. Yeah, it wasn't a happy month for color, but it was a good month for performance, and I'm glad for that. So anyway, I learned something about myself, and here I am telling the internet about it. Hopefully it helped you in some way, that if you're maybe out of your color comfort zone, if you have colors that work with it and that helps you like visually to kind of get into it more, do that. Because the inks were all good with the pens. Just the colors as I combine them didn't do it for me. So I'll do better the next time I get out of my color comfort zone. And thank you if you hung around this long for watching. I appreciate you. And I hope you have an awesome day. Take care.